Hi there, it's Councillor James Baker, and what I wanted to do was just talk you through the Greenbelt review, which the council now has published in its draft form. Now, some of you, particularly those up at Mount Tabor, you'll be aware the issue of whether the land around there is designated in the local plan as Greenbelt or not is hugely important as to whether the housing developments around there are likely to go ahead. If land like that is designated and kept as Greenbelt, then the chances are developments, are not going to be going ahead there in future. If the land is redesignated and it's no longer Greenbelt, then obviously that makes it more likely that there's going to be housing developments on that type of land. So the local plan working party met last Tuesday on the 12th of July. One thing we've managed to do recently on the council is argue for all working parties now to be held in public and for their papers to be published online as well. So you can get to the papers online if you follow this web link up here. Unfortunately, I've tried navigating to it via the council's webpage and it's hard to find. It's under Council and Democracy section, Calderdale Councillors and Council Committee and Cabinet meetings. But if you go to Council Committee and Cabinet meetings, you get taken to this page, and I'm not actually sure at all how you can actually then kind of link onto the local plan working party from here. It's not a link that appears anywhere on this page. And if you go to search agendas and reports, that is not one of the things that comes up here as a meeting you can search for. Maybe if you just try local plan working party, that will take you through it possibly. Fingers crossed. That's thinking about doing that. So anyway, you can try and navigate to it. I'm not sure how you navigate to it. I got given a direct link as a councillor. I got given a direct link as a councillor. So if we go back a couple pages, this is a direct link, and I'll post this link up in the Facebook page so you can all get to there via that. Now there's a couple documents that got submitted. These are the draft Greenbelt review, and then it had a couple of appendixes to that review as well. So the first main document was this document, which is a Greenbelt review. See, it's a long document, 43 pages, and it's worth mentioning here. Obviously, this is a draft report, so this is not the final report at the moment. It's a draft report that has gone to a working party to look at. But what the report does really is set out all of the methodology which the council officers have used to assess all the Greenbelt. And really what they're doing is they're trying to assess all the what they call the parcels of land, the parcels of Greenbelt land in Calderdale. I think there's over 400 or so. Don't quote me on that exact number. And they're reassessing those using the methodology, and they're all they're either keeping the mid-sensitive Greenbelt parcels or the most sensitive ones. So they're kind of grading these Greenbelts in terms of how Greenbelty they are, I guess is what you would say. And as you can see, it's a very detailed report, and it's been done generally in a professional manner, and it looks as if the council has adopted a clear methodology for assessing these parcels of land. Unfortunately, I mean, you can see here they've got all the assessments criteria they've laid out, so we kind of have to assume that they've applied that assessment criteria consistently. We might want to check that though, and this is where things get a bit difficult, because accompanying this document sets out how these parcels are going to be assessed is a map of all the parcels. There's also another appendix, Appendix C, which was going to have the detailed review of all the 400 or so parcels of land, Greenbelt land in Calderdale. Now that Appendix C is missing. We've asked for a copy of it to be provided before the meeting, and it hasn't been provided to us, and it's not published on the website, so we can't actually check particular bits of land which might be of concern to people. We then had a map attached to it as one of the appendices, and here you can see each of these parcels of land that they're put in sections. So this is obviously this one parcel of land 012 to 00. So all these bits of Greenbelt, they're all numbered, and you can see the bits of land here. So all of these ones that are red, they've all been assessed as most sensitive. They're all probably likely going to be kept as Greenbelt. These ones here, you can see the turquoise one. These are the mid-sensitive Greenbelt parcels. They've been assessed as not been as likely to continue being Greenbelt. But when I looked at this map, I thought, well, how do I know which these areas are? I've got reasonable geographical knowledge. I can roughly work out the area, the outline of Calderdale if I see that on the map. I know that Worley Ward is kind of around here somewhere. I know that Hebden Bridge is around there. That's Todmorden. You've got Ryburn and Greetland, and so I've got a rough idea, but I can tell you where, say, this particular parcel of land was. And the reason is that this map is just an outline, isn't it? There's no distinctive roads or markers or any of the other things you need on a map to really give you some idea of that. Now, our councillor Ashley Evans, who's on this panel, he questioned that. Well, I can't see what it is on the map. I haven't been given the detailed list of all this. And quite astonishingly, he was told by officers that was done intentionally, that they'd intentionally created this map and not put the things on it because they didn't want this to get into the public domain, because they thought it might be sensitive if people could actually identify what these areas of land were. And they wanted councillors to be able to look at on the working party and then agree to put that out into the public domain. Now, the whole point of us pushing to get these working parties to meet in public was that this kind of stuff didn't happen anymore. And I guess, let's try and be generous here. Maybe the officers were worried that they might do something and they might cause a furore about it. But instead of just dealing with that head on, being open and transparent and saying, look, we know this is going to be a bit controversial, but here's the sites. They've actually tried to obscure where these sites are, make it more difficult for councillors such as myself, for members of the public such as you, to work out where these parcels of land are. So this is where we're at for Greenbelt Review. I think I've got some suspicion some of these might be around Tabor, some of these might be around Worley Ward, some of these less sensitive parcels. But I've got no idea really, because until I'm able to get a copy of that Appendix C, which lists all of the sites and their assessments, or until I'm able to see this map in more detail and be able to actually locate the detail of where some of these sites are, I couldn't really comment on it any further. So we raised that in the meeting. Ashley Evans, one of the Liberal Democrat councillors, raised his concerns about this. The other thing he managed to get an assurance from the chair of that committee, which is Councillor Dan Sutherland, that development on Greenbelt would only happen as a last resort, and we're going to try and hold them to that and stick them to that, because the Greenbelt in Calderdale is so valuable. It's such a lovely area to live, Calderdale, and the natural habitat is a part of that, and we really don't want to see any development on the Greenbelt, if at all possible. We want to see it on existing brownfield sites, and we want to see higher density building on brownfield sites, and ideally we'd want to see this garden cities plan enacted by the government, so we could meet some of our housing needs by building new garden cities that are sustainable, rather than trying to cram lots and lots and lots of extra houses onto this kind of lovely Pennine landscape we have in Calderdale. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully that's explained a little bit where we're at with the local plan, where we're at with the Greenbelt Review. As soon as you know more, then I will leave